If you're even thinking of selling your home or buying a new one, boy, you really need to hear what my next guest has to say. Real estate agent broker Michael Gaddis is here with what your agent may be doing wrong. Thank you so much for coming in this morning. We do appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Now, we're not going to name names or point out any particular real estate agencies or real estate agents, but this is something people need to keep in mind before you sign on that dotted line. Is that right?
Well, I think so. I think that you really need to take the time to interview more than one person before you select a real estate agent. A lot of real estate agents will go to the house with the listing agreement already prepared and really try to encourage you to sign right there. But I think it's a big decision, and you really need to take the time before you sign it.
All right. This is sometimes these are people's biggest life savings is all in their house, and they really want to make sure that they have the right person representing them. Okay, what your agent could be doing wrong. An agent may not think like an appraiser, and that's huge, coming up with the listing price.
Well, it is, and you know, as a mortgage broker, I understand how appraisers work because a lot of appraisals have to do with loans. So what you have to do when you're a real estate agent is you have to understand what that appraiser is going to do, because ultimately your house is going to, when you sell your house, it's going to come down to an appraiser evaluating it for the lender, that's for the buyer's lender. So you have to think like them. There was a situation in Chula Vista not too long ago where I priced a house, and an agent called me and told me that I was wrong, that I had priced the house too high. And I said, let me guess. I said, when you did your comps, you pulled a radius of around that house. And she goes, yes. I said, that's wrong. You can't do that. I said, you see that there's a major thoroughfare through that radius. And I said, you have to, those houses below it are inferior to this house. So you have to draw a polygon around the house. And I said, then I bet what you did is you used the differential, the 25% square footage differential. And I said, I bet you you didn't. You just used that because that's the default in the comp search. And I said, what you have to do is you have to change it to 15% instead of 25, because there's so many comps that are in that community that are so close to the square footage. When you do that, you're going to get the price exactly where you need it to be. So knowing how to analyze data is important, and that's exactly how appraisers think. So when you do that, you can get the best price for your house.
Probably didn't know you're going to be using all your math skills in this job, now did you?
No, but I'm a very number-orientated person. I love math, and everything to me comes down to math.
I love it. Okay, now let's talk about a lot of agents just don't do enough research. Maybe it's just out of sheer laziness at times.
Well, I think it could be, or just not knowing what, how to do it. Like, for example, the lady I was just telling you about, the real estate agent, after I was done talking to her, she says, you're not from Chula Vista, and you know more about Chula Vista than I do. And I said, exactly. I can sell a house no matter where it is, just by looking at all the databases and the mathematics around it. So being able to do research and analyze the data is really crucial in selling a house.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now a lot of agents, and I know that I'm not alone in this, they leave all sorts of flyers and notepads and pens and tricks and trinkets at my doorstep, and they're trying to obviously get business from me and the rest of the neighbors. Are people desperate for business at times?
Oh, they are very desperate. You could go to a doorstep at any given time and see maybe 5 flyers there. I went the other day and went by a house, and I saw 5 flyers, and I picked them up, and I said, if I was a homeowner, what would I do? How would I select this? So I looked at the 5 different pieces of advertisements. I eliminated 2 immediately because they were just really cheaply done. They weren't very professionally done. I eliminated the 3rd because there were misspellings throughout it and grammatical mistakes. And so then it came down to 2, and I eliminated 1 because they didn't have a mortgage background. And then that left 1 with a guy who had a pretty decent piece, and it was he had a mortgage background. So I compared him to me, and of course, I said, well, with my credentials and what I do, then I would beat him. So I kind of try to, and I think homeowners who are looking to sell their house need to do the same type of analytical approach when trying to figure out who they want to sell their house for them.
Because you're the trifecta. Not only are you the broker, but you also have a background in mortgages, and you're an attorney?
That's right. And sometimes people ask, well, how does that help me sell my house? How does you being all 3 of these things help me? Well, I'll give you an example. Being a mortgage broker really helps. For example, there was a situation in Valley Center where a friend of mine had a friend that was going to buy a house there. And I asked him, I said, you want me to represent him on the buyer side? He goes, no, he's going to go straight to the agent because he wants to make sure he gets the house. And I said, well, you better be careful. I said, because in Valley Center, if there's an avocado grove, you're going to have some potential problems getting a loan. And he goes, oh, he's okay. And I'm like, well, be careful. He's going to have a problem. Sure enough, he did. He was having problems getting his loan. Well, his agent, who was both the seller's agent and the buyer's agent, was basically, who had an obligation to the seller to try to get the contingency removed.
Sure.
But he also had an obligation to the buyer to try to get him more time. Well, basically, his agent was pushing him and giving him a notice to perform and all of this. Finally, he gave him a deadline and said, you have to do it by this Friday. Well, what happened is he got his loan docs on Friday. and he signed the loan docs. But his agent didn't think he was going to be able to fund it, and he accepted another offer on behalf of the seller during that time. Well, he didn't. The loan was a table fund. The lender could table fund, which means he could fund the loan the same day that he signed. His agent didn't know that. And so now he stopped him from recording, and now it's a big problem.
Now
it's a big mess. And you know what? That never would have happened if they would have come with me. Never would have happened at all.
All right,
and
well,
so,
give Michael a call. Make
yeah.
sure that you protect yourself against situations like the one he just described. There's the website on your screen, his phone number as well. And again, Michael Gaddis, thank you so much for your time this morning. We certainly do appreciate it. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. More information, hey, go to our website, san diego6.com, click on San Diego Living.